Welcome back to the Sharon Jones Show. I am just having a great moment in time here with Mr. Teddy Reece. How you doing?
Hello, Miss Jones. It is truly a pleasure and an honor to be here with you today.
Yes, well, thank you. It's likewise. And when you said I would like to come on the show, when I asked, I said, you want to come on the show? You said, I would like. I said, oh, man, I get a chance to actually interview Mr. Teddy Reece. It's great.
Well, I hope that we have as much fun as you are anticipating.
Yes, it's going to be a blessing. Either
Yes,
way out, when God has his hands upon you, you can't be anything but blessed because you belong to the Most High.
Absolutely, and I know he's truly blessed me as the son of a single mother who worked 3 part-time jobs to make sure that we had food and clothing, and a grandmother who only made it to the 10th grade, but managed to retire from the state of Georgia after 32 years working with Central State Hospital, taking care of our veterans and disabled individuals. But check this out, Miss Jones. She never had a driver's license and never owned a car, and there were some mornings she had to make that 15-mile walk to work. But my parents and my grandparents taught me values that I will never forget. That's to respect everyone, to love God, to honor family, and just be as good as you can to everyone.
Wow, yeah, that makes a difference, how your upbringing, you know, when you've been into a struggle in life and seen your loved ones struggle and you've seen it, it makes you more appreciative to me, because I've been there as well with some other different, and I just like that you use that to define and to kind of give us a little example of how you've come through, because you are shining in this city.
Well, thank you, and you know, and I don't shine for the recognition. I do what I do to help others, and that's the lifestyle that we've lived. Even with my family, I remember going off to college, and one of the first things they said to me was, "Whatever you do, make sure you keep God first, and make sure that whatever you do, that it wouldn't be an embarrassment to the family."
Okay.
So I worked extremely hard, and not coming from a family of leadership or those that had the time, you know, to really serve in a public capacity. That's where I found my voice in college, and I was able to serve 2 terms as Student Government Association president at Albany State University.
Oh my!
Had an opportunity to work closely with former governors and secretary of states here in the state of Georgia, and I see it all as a blessing, and I count every one of them each day.
Each day. Oh my goodness. So you were born in Columbus?
No, I was born in a little small town called Gordon, Georgia, Wilkinson County, just east of Macon. Ms. Jones, we didn't have a traffic light. You know, all the stores closed at 10. You know, it was the kind of place where, you know, we were running around barefoot and no one would say a thing, but the neighbor wasn't afraid to get onto you if you were doing something wrong. There was a sense of community. Everyone cared for each other and they looked out for each other.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And, you know, it's good that you stayed in school, you know, because like you said, some of your role models in your life hadn't had that opportunity. And I know they are so proud because you're one of the ones that they brought up to be a fine young man, to go out and venture out and get your education, because education is a very essential tool to success.
You know, it's definitely essential, and that teaching to gain your education has stuck with me even after finishing 3 degrees, even after getting a master's in public administration along with a bachelor's in computer science and a Juris Doctorate, being licensed in the state of Georgia and the state of Florida. I didn't want to go to a corporate law firm and spend my days behind a desk pushing papers but making a lot of money. I wanted to make a difference. And I do that every day right now with my organization, Georgia Appleseed. We're fighting very hard for education, making sure that we're able to keep more of our children in the classroom where they need to be. Think about this, Ms. Jones. When we suspend a child and we send them home and that single parent isn't there, that's a vacation. That's not punishment. And so we got to get back to common sense thinking when it comes to education. And I'm just fortunate that we have leaders in the Valley that understand that, and they're willing to work with the changes that we need to have in education to make sure that our children get that education, because education is key, as you said.
Yes, it helps. You know, knowing God and putting God in it, and like your parents taught you, putting God first.
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing God, education, common sense, it works together for the good.
Absolutely. And when you are a blessing to others, you get the opportunity to build those experiences that help you grow. My first opportunity out of college, I worked for Geico Corporate, and that was an amazing opportunity that was presented to me by a fellow churchgoer. And she told me about that opportunity, and I was able to join a management program and learn early about strategic budgeting and planning and be in rooms where oftentimes I was the only person in there that looked like me. But I couldn't let that be a distraction.
No.
I had to keep pushing, and I even found mentors there. You know, it's your life is about what you decide to do with it and the direction you decide to take. We can't continue to make excuses.
Right.
You have to make lemonades when you're giving lemons.
All right, now you better say something.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
That's right. I believe that. Yeah. Good lemonade come from a good lemon.
It comes from a good lemon.
A hard squeeze.
I'm trying to tell you, the kind that you got to roll on the counter first, you know, get a little salt it up. A little soften up.
Okay.
Yes, right. You know, I tell them I can go to Applebee's now and get a steak. But I remember back in the day, we didn't have no but cube steak. You would beat it with that hammer on the counter.
Okay, you make it. Oh, I know about it.
That's right.
Every house had one.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
they had that old that little rolling board to roll that dough.
Yes, that rolling pin, and you roll that dough. My grandmother, to this day, she still makes homemade biscuits every morning.
I love it. I love that.
Every morning.
That's the excitement about going home, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It wears on you, too.
It does. You're like, come home. You're like,
oh,
and don't let them put that gravy with it.
Oh, my.
And then that biscuit and gravy. You don't even need meat.
Yes.
You know, that's that good stuff.
That's the good stuff. And, you know, and that's when families would sit down and have a meal together. And have a conversation. And that kept the family unit in place. A good meal. And people didn't realize, you know, why did everybody come together to eat? Because of the food. It was so good.
It was so good.
But the conversation was also thought-provoking. And that's when relatives would ask me, well, how are your grades, Teddy? You know, how are you doing in school?
Right.
And it gave me a sense of care and love to know that my relatives were concerned about my success.
Isn't that something?
Yes,
We're going to come back next segment because I tell you, you're on something. You got me. All my attention is on this conversation. But we're going to roll back on the next segment after this commercial break. Y'all don't know what to do. Bam, did I do it right? Get it.